With new restaurants opening daily and others shutting down, it takes more than luck to be successful in the restaurant business. I'm Divya Gugnani here at Tribeca Grill in New York City to find out some secrets of the trade. So let's go behind the burner and meet the restaurateur. So I'm here with restaurateur Drew Nieporent.
Yes.
Drew, I got your name right. It's a feat.
It is. It's a hard name to get right.
So I'm wearing my blazer today because I figured we're talking business. Drew, tell me, how did you get started in the restaurant business?
Well, my father worked for the State Liquor Authority, which licenses restaurants here in New York, of course. We had a great exposure as kids. I think some people are exposed to music. You know, maybe there's a piano in the house and you gravitate to music. I gravitated to food.
Tell us about your first restaurant.
The first restaurant was Montrachet 25 years ago here in the neighborhood known as Tribeca. I had saved about $50,000. And then another classmate of mine from Cornell, where I went to hotel school, $50,000. And then we borrowed $50,000 from the Small Business Administration. So with $150,000, we set about to open a restaurant, which was ridiculous, but we did. We opened that restaurant in April of 1985. 7 weeks later, a 3-star review from the New York Times. And it was a little
It's your luck, Drew. You've got the lucky touch.
Well, you know, it was early on in my career, of course, but it was a little like winning the lottery and not being able to collect the cash. In other words, then the real work began because I had a very talented young chef who you probably know quite well by the name of David Boulay.
Of course.
But you had to bring War and Peace to read between the courses because the food really wasn't coming out of the kitchen that fast. So it was a little bit of careful what you wish for. I mean, we could have filled Chase Stadium with the demand that was created. Why? Because we had a $16 prefix menu and we had 3-star food.
Having the right menu, the right pricing, what is the recipe for success?
I think you need to have a strategy. A strategy that I had early on was give people the best possible food experience, but at the lowest possible price point. You know, when you get that review, you know, you have to live up to the hype and the fanfare.
How do you get the review, Drew?
Well, you know, nowadays it's in some cases it's easier now than it was then, because then you had to create your own buzz and create your own public relations. And now, of course, with the communications, what they are, you know, the word gets out rather quickly.
Now with the internet, everything is, you know, spreading virally with Twitter, with Facebook.
Restaurants used to open and then build their volume based on word of mouth. Now restaurants tend to open almost like a movie. I think the thread that runs through everything is the management, or it's the Drewisms, it's my personality and persona. And quite frankly, the first thing and the most important thing is always the food.
Another tip. So food, wine, the experience, having a high quality experience.
Always pay everybody you owe money to.
Yes, always pay.
If you have anything left over, reimburse your investors. You can't be in business if you've burned anybody, whether it be the landlord or purveyor.
I agree.
And there's a lot of that, unfortunately, it's pervasive in the industry. So that's the business part of it.
So tell us, tough economy, demanding consumers, how have you changed your outlook and your operations?
I think it's important that you don't confuse the consumers. I think you have to be consistent, and since we're in it for the long haul and I've seen times go good and bad, I don't think there's too many things that I would change from a price perspective or a portion size or the quality of the cut of the meat or something like that. I think
because the consumer picks up on that stuff.
I think that's the case.
Let's assume that the next thing we know, we're in a boom economy. How do you change your operations?
Well, then we raise all the prices now.
Just checking. You don't want to confuse them. You don't want to alienate them. You want to continue their loyalty. Tell us your best tips, tricks, and techniques for a first-time restaurateur.
My first thing would be apprentice under somebody like myself. I would hope that they really immerse themselves in their knowledge of food and the logistics. The costs that are involved are excessive, but if you know, you make your projections that you're going to do X number of covers a night, figure out what your costs are, and then figure out what the per person cost to just what one diner represents just in cost. And then you're going to have to figure out how much you can charge people.
So tell us, Drew, if you were going to do it all over again, would you be a restaurateur?
Oh, yes. You couldn't do it in the manner of which we've tried to do it if we didn't enjoy what we were doing.
Stay tuned to Behind the Burner, where we give you the tips, tricks, and techniques that are lighting the culinary world on fire. For Q&A, photos, and more, visit behindtheburner.com.